Hi everyone, it is Jennifer from Building AAC, and I am here to show you some neat things that Zoom can do for you today. So if you go to your share screen in Zoom, which is on your toolbar, it is like a green box with an arrow. It will give you the options to share your screen, share a whiteboard. So I'm going to share the whiteboard for you to see, and you can do something like if you're working on maybe a sight word, you can spell out the word see for people to see, and then you can clear it. You can do some just nice writing stuff there. So I'm going to stop that share. And one of the other options that you have, so you have share your screen, share whiteboard, but what you can also do is share your iPhone or iPad. So if you click on the share iPhone or iPad, when you first do it, it will prompt you to download an extension. So I'm using my Chrome browser and it wants me to download an extension in my Chrome browser. The next thing it does is it says on your iPhone or iPad, it connects to your home Wi-Fi network. So your iPad and your computer need to be on the same network. Then what you do is if you have iOS 12 or 13, so you need to be updated to one of the most current operating systems on within your iPad or iPhone. And in both of those systems, you would swipe from the top right corner down, and that will bring up your system settings. And there's an option for screen mirroring, and you can select Zoom, and mine says to select Zoom Jennifer. So I'm going to show you those steps here in a second. So you should be able to see my iPad screen right now. And you probably won't be able to see me actually swipe my finger, but if I swipe from the top right corner down, it brings up this menu. And right where it says Zoom Jennifer, that's when you first see it, it'll say screen mirroring, and it will give you an option. So I selected the Zoom Jennifer. And now you guys can see my iPad screen. So this is really great. You can switch orientation. So here is more of the wide view. I'm going to go to my AAC apps, and I'm going to pick an app. Let's try, let's do Proloquo to go. And you can see my setup there. So this is helpful for you to do any sort of modeling if you're trying to do some teletherapy or some instruction online with students. One of the biggest features, and you'll see in the bottom right corner, there is this little box. You can see it moving up and down right here. That is your AssistiveTouch button. So in order to get this button to show up, to show where you're touching, having the AssistiveTouch button set up allows you to have this nice black circle to model with. And I'm going to go into another app. Let's give Touch Chat a try. Here we have Touch Chat. Here you can't see really anything that I'm touching for modeling purposes, but if I go back over here to this AssistiveTouch button right here, I can go back to my custom buttons, go to presentation mode, and now you can see where I'm moving my finger for modeling. So if I want to say, I want to eat, the student can now see that modeled to them through that button. So your next question is going to be, wow, Jennifer, that's super, super cool. I love that. How do I do it? So we're going to hit the home button, and go into our settings. So I'll just make sure that I'm still in presentation mode. So you can see me move this over here to my settings. And you have to go to General. So here's General over on the side right here. Let me get that back on. So you can see General right here. Then you need to scroll to Accessibility right here and select it. And you're going to go to, oops, I'm going to turn it off just for a second so that I can scroll a little better. We're going to go down here to Interaction and Assistive Touch. So my Assistive Touch is turned on right now. So you can see you might need to switch this on. And down here you can create new custom gestures. The one I labeled presentation is what you're seeing right now, but you can create a new gesture. All you have to do is do on the screen exactly what you want it to do. So all I want it to do is a simple touch. So all I'm going to do is touch the screen, hit stop, hit save. I'm going to name it. So I'm going to name it test and save. Now, when I get out of here and I go back into Proloquo, I can hit that Assistive Touch button, which is now on my screen, go to Custom, and now you can see my test is right there. Now, when I push buttons, you can see what I'm doing. You can either click and drag this all over the screen wherever you want it, or you can simply push the button and it will move it automatically all over the screen. So this is really helpful when you are trying to model. I've heard from some colleagues that have done some online instruction before, and that individual had said that having some sort of a document camera where the student can actually see your hand was probably the gold standard. It worked the best for the most amount of students. But if you don't have that ability and you don't have a dot cam at home right now, using the custom gestures and using Zoom to share your iPad, if you have a communication app on your home iPad, or if you have a school iPad with you, is most definitely probably the next best thing. And it works really slick. Just remember, if you're going in and out of apps, you do have to turn it back on, as it seems to turn off when you get out of an app. So again, like if I go back into Touch Chat, now it's not on. So I have to push the button, go to Custom, Presentation, and now it's back on. If I were to, again, go back out of an app, go into another one again, now you're not going to see what I'm doing. Proloquo has its own built-in touch, but as you can see, it doesn't necessarily show you scrolling. Well, I guess it does show you scrolling across the screen when you're in Zoom. But other apps, I've got a few more on my iPad. Let's see what Lamp does. Lamp does not do that. So if I go back to my custom touch, now you can see it on here again. So that would be helpful with Lamp. Let's see what happens in Snap Plus Core. Just keep in mind my Snap is not my speaking version. I have that on a different device of mine. So here you're not seeing it, but if I, again, go to my custom gestures, now you can see where I'm pushing. Let's see, I have Speak for Yourself on here. So we're in here. you're not really seeing it. I go back to my custom gestures. You're seeing where I'm pushing. I think I probably have a few more that aren't in that folder. But you get the idea. It doesn't work within a game, so I've played around with that. If you're trying to do a game with a student, this isn't necessarily a work game, but it's one that my kids love to play. So here I am actually taking my hand and moving the individual. So let's see, I don't think it will work. It didn't work when I was doing some other ones. So because it's just a touch, you can see that it will touch her, but it won't actually move her because the gesture was just for a touch. And I can show you that if I go into I did my play home before. Another one that my kids really, really like. So you can see I can move her around. I can do different things. Now it's pulling me into iPlay Home Store. I can make her sit. But when I do the assistive touch, then the only thing I can do basically is a click on her, but I can't move her because that's not how I set that touch up. So it really works well, at least that custom gesture works really well within our AAC apps. It would not work in an app probably where it was set up for scrolling, but if you do have some page buttons. So here you can see I can scroll through the words in Snap. If I do that as a custom gesture, it's not really letting me scroll because again, that's not what the gesture is doing. So just kind of keep that in mind. You would probably want to use the app with some sort of page button navigation instead of a swipe, at least for presenting. Hopefully you found this helpful, and I am super excited about it. Share if you have any experience using it. Thanks, everyone.